Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. Starting from 1971, we've seen and played it all. So where are we now? Well, we're playing the games released at some time in November 1982.
Be sure to tune in next week.
We were last in Japan on the Sword M5 playing Super Cobra, one of the best ways to play a scramble game on any home computer, and I would argue the best way to play a shoot 'em up on any home computer right now. Let's see what our next game is. We're going to be in Japan a little bit longer as we play Super Helicopter on the Sharp MZ line of home computers. This is the 33rd game we played on the Sharp MZ, which I didn't even know was a thing before doing this show. The top left shows Sharp MZ80K, but right now this encompasses all Sharp computers. So right now you could be playing on the Sharp 80B series of computers, which is like the business computers, the MZ2000, things like that. Also, right now is the MZ3500, and the 80K version of computers is this, what we see over here on the left side. With that series of computers, we also have the MZ700, which is in the bottom left, and the 80K with color graphics, which is kind of like what the Sharp MZ700 is. There's also the 80A and the MZ1200 that's available right now, which is essentially an upgraded version of the 80K with an improved keyboard, more VRAM, and a green screen visual display unit. So the reason I know so much about Sharp is really because that I found out Hudson Soft, the company that's going to go on and do great things with video games, has games that most people don't have a complete list of, but I found a lot of them on this series of computers. That's why we're here. This has nothing to do with Hudson Soft, though. Super Helicopter is something very rare and obscure. I only have a couple screenshots for it. Let's pop it and play Super Helicopter. This is by Nagsoft. That's right, Nagsoft. At some time in November 1982. You really need to change your name if it's Nagsoft. So this one we're going to be loading up by tape. I'm going to go ahead and play the tape, and then we're going to fast forward because we do not want to wait for anything to load in 1982. Loading Kunstschreiber. There we go. Part of the thing we don't showcase too much on this channel is whenever you load games at this time in like November 1982, there is an experience you get with certain games based on the loading. So if you have the feels for when you used to load video games, we don't really show that too much. We usually go just right to the game, or at least as fast as we can. So this is Super Helicopter. There you go. There's the proof. It's really programmed by Nagsoft. we haven't seen anything by Nagsoft. It's Helicopter for the 700. And there's the points, and you're supposed to push a key. You saw that it's all keyboard controlled, no joystick control. But nice intro. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Choplifter, the way that. So I'm excited to see. Is this Choplifter? Are we gonna play some Choplifter? No, it's just a helicopter that comes to the top of the screen. Got keyboard in front of me. You mean you have to play with your hands? Yes, you do. And it's all programmed by the number pad on the side. Yeah, there we go. All right, and then we're in. Oh, gosh. So I'm going to have to move myself. Watch this. Everything's taking place on the right side of the screen. And it is essentially scramble, but I'm not even going like, hold on, let me get my, there we go, get my bearings straight. So now you can move on the side of the screen, but we're moving from right to left, which is strange, but I don't have a lot of movement forward and backward. Let me see if I can try. I love the way they do the pixels on the Sharp MZ700. Was that it? Oh, that was all of our lives? It was that fast? Very strange to go from right to left, but we've seen it before. There's been shoot-em-ups that do that. It's just very backwards. That's right, Marshall. We're going to get to the helicopter. The Super Helicopter. Okay, let's try this again. Can I go forward? Okay, so I can go forward. I can't do it at the same time, though. Notice that whenever I did it, yeah, I'm not able to move at the same time. And I have an auto-fire. Okay, auto-fire if I want to. We're using a character set mode. To put in perspective, the Sharp MZ computer did not have a built-in basic. You had to create or design your own basic. So there's some games that you have to load in a custom basic set that was made by, like, for example, Hudson Soft, but this one's not Hudson Soft. And then after that, then you could load into the game. So you can see here, it's really giving me vibes of some of the really crummy scramble games we played on the Commodore VIC-20, because they usually use, you know, Petsky graphics. VIC-20 graphics. So I kind of feel that way. Oh man, if you crash into the ground, you just die instantly. Yeah, we really need a better helicopter, but it ends the game pretty quick there. Okay, so essentially this is a shoot 'em up. It is not one of the best ones we played. This is the 166th shoot 'em up we played, and here on Chronologically Gaming, that means we're scrolling around the screen shooting things, kind of like Defender or Scramble or Super Cobra. This one's obviously taking its inspiration from Super Cobra with Super Helicopter, but there's a lot to be desired here because keyboard controlled only. You can see I'm getting a little bit of like tile set controls here, and it just feels a little bit clunky, but you actually would have a pretty good time at this point, November 1982, especially if this was the only computer you had. On home computers, this is the 103rd shoot 'em up that we've seen, scrolling shoot 'em up. The character set mode graphics are here, the keyboard input, so yeah, getting lots of vibes of stuff we've seen on a Commodore VIC-20. And for Scramble, though, it's another Scramble game. This one's the 55th variant of Scramble that we've seen so far, including Scramble and Super Cobra that were originally in the arcades. Look at this. I'm pretty much like dodging things, and I can shoot it if I want to. If you look at the top left, ooh, yes, we do have other things coming. Oh, if you survive long enough. It's more like a gauntlet to see if you can make it through the slowly scrolling environment. Oh, we do have the checkpoints, too. I love it. Oh, gosh, that's a tight squeeze. Yikes. So up to this point, we played 13 Scramble-like games in the arcade, including True Scramble and True Super Cobra. We played 2 of them on home consoles, Cosmic Avenger on the ColecoVision and then Super Cobra on the Adventure Vision. All right, we're ready, go. Well, let me go until we get to see some of the title. Everything else that we've seen has been on home computers. So home computers have been copying and making Super Cobra and Scramble variants. So there's a lot of competition already for this style of game. I like that they had the checkpoint, but man, there's no way to continue. You have to really survive as long as you can. This is also the 25th game we played that you commandeer a helicopter across all video games so far. So I'm looking over the chat. I already see a few, I see Paul threw out a rating of 2 or 2.5. Bad to around the subpar or around the average range for all the video games you could play on all home computers. So it feels like it's clunky, but we have played worse Scramble games and shoot 'em up games. I'm looking at the Commodore VIC-20 because they're some of the worst ones we've ever seen. Yeah, the slowdown also kills it. Oh, go, go, go. Oh man, you gotta be able to shoot at the right time to make it through the top. That's a really tight squeeze. And Manly says no lies were told. I'm pretty sure you're thinking of Pac-Man. I don't know how I'm making it through. Okay, it was short-lived. In a way, there's games like this that are very challenging, a little slow to pick up and play, but the challenge actually makes you want to keep going. Like I want to fight the game's flaws and see the next thing, and I would see you doing this with Super Helicopter. Well, way to go, Nagsoft. I don't know if we're going to see Nagsoft again. But of all the games you could play on all home computers right now in November 1982, Super Helicopter is around the bad range, just in general, because I know we're comparing this to other shoot-em-ups, but I'd say it's around the 1.5 to 2-star range for everything you could play up to this point. I'm seeing mostly 2s in the chat. I don't think anyone went as high as 1.5. Yeah, you'd find some enjoyment if you were to play this long enough. If it's keyboard controlled only, I usually rate them lower than that. And then, yeah, couldn't say in 2. So, yeah, we'll go 2 stars. Most of the contention is saying around the 2-star range or bad, best of the bad games. You can play on all home computers. All right, after that, let's see what our next game is. Here we go, another home computer, the Atari home computer. This is Survivor. Let's check out Survivor. The ad on the left is why you should buy the Atari home computer because E.T. is going to come on this computer. Yeah, I'd like to see that to believe it. Here's the box for Survivor. Oh, killer box. Well done artwork. Sci-fi themed. Man, there's so many video games that are sci-fi themed. And here in November 1982, we've been cataloging and marking everything we've seen up to this point. This is the 411th game we played on the Atari 400 or Atari 800. And this, if you look on the left side, is a good sign. Synapse Software is here. This is the 12th game we've seen so far by Synapse Software on Chronologically Gaming. They've done games like Protector 1 and 2, Chicken, Nautilus, Slime, Seamus, and Picnic Paranoia. And the one we just saw, Necromancer. So this company is killing it. All right, let's flip it over on the back. This game does require joysticks. The ambush was devastating. The entire Xenogryph Star Force was waiting to cut your Starfleet to ribbons, not to be confused with a Xenomorph. Over 100 Star Cruisers have been destroyed through this treachery, and it's sheer miracle that you have survived. Now you're facing overwhelming odds. You assess the situation. You and your crew must destroy 4 heavily defended space forts and all the trackers. Cool. See, they have the lore on the back. I think every Synapse Software game has done that so far. All right, here we go. This is all the other artwork we have for Survivor on the Atari home computer. Besides the box, we also have the cassette tape. Yes, video games were played on cassette tape here in November 1982. And look at what it says, 1983. Now, I've had some sources say this is the very first Synapse Software video game. But you can see here, they released this later in 1983. So what we're looking at is the manual, I think, is going to say 1983. But here in November 1982 is the first time you could have ever seen it before it got rebranded. It may not even had a fancy box like this. And there's an example of the 5 1/4 floppy disk you could have also played. I don't think we had cartridge version for this one. Only cassette or disc. And there's the example of the screenshot. Yeah, man, I love the water stained on the front because it means it's a real scan. It's not some fabrication. You can get so much reconstructed stuff. All right, here's the manual for Survivor. This is by Richard Carr. Way to go, Richard. The very first game we've ever seen by that developer. And you notice there's nothing else. Do they have any other credits? I think Synapse just hires crazy developers that can do the whole game themselves. And we've already seen some of the best games, man, on home computers have been by Synapse Software. That's how you load cassette and disc. We don't have to go through that, but it is difficult. It says cartridge, but I don't think the cartridge version was released. And to get started, it explains the buttons on your home computer. The Atari has options, select, and start, and what they do. When you load the game, you can choose between automatic firing or pressing the key. That's pretty cool. You can also accelerate or decelerate gradually. Oh, you can press T to change the acceleration mode and zero out the high score. Spacebar releases the smart bomb. Oh, don't forget that. When we played here on the live show, if they have extra buttons or extra features for games, I usually am forgetting to do that. Make sure I remember to do the smart bomb. You get 7 smart bombs when you start the game. The object of the game is destroy all 4 of the Xenogryph space forts by eliminating the gun emplacements of each fort. Your task is made more challenging by enemy trackers, fighters, and launches which attempt to destroy you, and by asteroids you have to avoid. Cool. So it's combining lots of different elements from other games, it seems. Your Star Wedge cruiser is maneuvered by simply pushing the stick in the direction you wish to move. You're armed with 2 laser cannons which respond instantly to the fire button of your joystick. I like how they say that because we really want it to respond every time. If you select 2 or 3 player modes, these players will be your gunners. Players 2 and 3 each command one of the ship's laser cannons. Each cannon can be aimed and fired independently. Wait, what? Okay, so the Atari home computer has 4 ports for joysticks. This game is saying you can play a 4-player game where the player 2 and player 3 were going to be gun. Wait a second, that's incredible. You can use all 4 joystick ports. You and 4 people can all be controlling, I believe, the same ship. That is new. And we've seen everything up to this point, so bring it on. There's the scoring for this game. Survivor, you got to know what it is in November 1982. And we got strategies, different automatic. Okay, so you can use the A and T to mess around. So I'm going to mess with that and see what it's like. Sweet. 24K is what you need for disc, 16K for cassette. We're going to be on disc. Let's pop it and play Survivor by Richard Carr And Synapse Software released at some time in November 1982. I'm already excited because seeing something new we've never seen before is always a plus, but then having to something by Synapse Software. Bring it on. All right. It boots up like we've seen with other games that Synapse Software has done. So this multiplayer mode is something brand new, 4-player cooperative multiplayer where now let's just see what this game can do. Let's do a normal 1-player game. And let's do level 1 because we like to give you the first experience. What's the first time you popped in and played Survivor? What was it like? Let's just not mess with any of the options. If we hit start, okay, and we're in. I'm controlling a ship that's like asteroids. You know, you can fly around, and I got a little bit of an inertia. Where's my shot? Nice. Oh, cool. I like that. The shot is very reminiscent of Vanguard, but I have freedom to scroll in all directions, so it's like a larger world than asteroids. Very well done. Sound design's given us like a creature that's or something that's flying up upon us. Got a star field in the background. It has the muted colors we've seen time and time again on the Atari home computer, but wow, this is pretty cool. All right, let's mess with some of the controls. Let's do A. No way, if you hit A on the keyboard, I don't even need to use the red button. That's awesome. It is just A, automatic fire means you don't have to hold or touch the red button. You just constantly fire and move your ship around so you can just worry about how the ship moves. That's cool. Okay, let's try T. Oh, sweet. T gets rid of the inertia. So you can fly the ship around and it feels more like I'm driving rather than flying. So it takes away the gravity from the area. I guess for more fine-tuned movement, so that's pretty cool. And then let's see what the smart bomb looks like. I want to add the gravity back because it makes me feel like I'm playing asteroids. Sweet, there's the smart bomb. Down at the bottom of the screen, they're keeping track of that. All right, so this already feels awesome. I mean, look at this. We have destructible terrain that we can tear through to get to the bases. And look at that. There's the turrets for the bases. Let's just smart bomb it. Oh, smart bomb doesn't blow up the turrets. Okay. I still have automatic fire on. It's just constantly firing the gun. And if you crash into the side, sweet. This is so cool. I like that you have the objective to fly around and move freely. Go, go, go. Yeah, there's a lot to unpack of what this game is doing compared to everything else we've seen up to this point. The first thing of your experience would be, this is fun. It is not disappointing. Synapse Software is still killing it. Wow. The last game we played most recently was Necromancer, and that was doing something we had never seen before, and it was 5 stars in my opinion. So here we go into this little tunnel, and I'm gonna actually turn the inertia off. Let's do a little more fine-tuned movement there. Yeah, you can see I can just barely sneak my way in there. Oh, and I still ran into the walls and blew up. But when you do, look at that, the whole base explodes. Now you got one base that's down. Let's turn on the inertia back again. This is awesome. Yeah, I just saw Marshall mention Bosconian, and yeah, it gives me vibes of that too. Oh, look at this. We can actually destroy this, where this turret's firing to help us make our way out of there. What's great flying around are the asteroids. Let's do that. I like the backward fire like Vanguard. This is so amazing that we haven't seen something like this in the arcades that's trying to do. This is a new creation at home on computers. Well, at least on the Atari home computer. Wow. So I'm destroying all the turrets. Once I do, this entire base goes down. And this one looks like it'll be an easy one. I say that and then get destroyed. Man, it's fun being able to have this objective and be able to fly around freely like this. There it goes. Boom! The whole base explodes when all the turrets go down. All right, so I'm already wanting to not stop playing. This game is top tier. This is high quality computer gaming right now in November 1982. I love it. All right, so let me just use all the lives. I guess I can always use the smart bomb, but the smart bomb doesn't destroy the turrets. And I like the design of the area. How many areas are we going to play in? Like, how many different complexes are we going to be blowing up? Are they going to have different designs and so forth? I'm not sure. And that's what I want to see. I want to see what all it can do. Being able to work my way down. You can see I can... Their range of shot is not nearly as long as mine. I can use it to blow them up because I have a better range of fire. Oh, that's so cool. And I like how you can adjust the control if you want to play more like I am now with asteroids, or if you want to play something that feels more akin to Targ or like a Solar Fox kind of thing. Yeah, that's right. Awesome. Yeah, so something else we've seen since 1980 is when a very good computer game comes out, it gets re-released several times. Synapse Software games are going to have that where they release several times after that. We seem to have lots of lives, too. That's why when we saw this game released for 1983, released on the cassette and the manual, it makes sense. Wow. I'm just going to die. This is the last life. There it is. And we're back at the beginning. Okay, so this game already, just that mode that you saw, it is a blast. That is a solid game. Here's where this game gets a little more interesting. If I select the select button on my on my computer, I can select what level I want to go to. So if I want to skip ahead, look at that. You can go to another level, which I think it is... Oh, okay, no, it's not another level. It's another difficulty. So it is... Look how fast I'm dying. Oh my gosh. I think I'll just use all the lives and go back to the beginning because, oh man, this is constant. If you thought the game wasn't shoot 'em up, that was shoot 'em up. So it just makes the game more difficult if you do the levels. But if you do number of players, watch this. You can go... I'm going to have to move my head. You can go up to 4 players to play at the same time. And that already is a novelty because since the beginning of us playing every single video game, there's been a few games that have this, multiplayer cooperative style play. One of the first ones we saw was Car Polo in the arcades in 1977. And then basketball was on the Atari home computer in December 1979. Soccer that Atari did in the arcades was April 1980. Asteroids on the Atari home computer had 4-player cooperative play in August 1981. Volleyball on the Atari home computer in November 1981 had it. Eliminator in the arcade in December 1981 had it. Football on the Astrocade allowed 4-player multiplayer or cooperative play. Hockey on the Atari home computer in 1981. On the Creative Vision, Sonic Invader had it, and then Soccer on the Atari home computer by Gamma Software, and also by Thorn EMI had 4-player multiplayer cooperative play. Then most recently we saw Chopper Rescue on the Atari home computer in September 1982, and then Crazy Chewy on the Creative Vision was Pac-Man in October 1982 that allowed you to have 4-player, it was 4-player like team style games. And so this one is still a shoot 'em up, but it's giving us the multi-directional shooter feel of like Asteroids. And so this one is the 141st game we've played that's like that. Because of the multiplayer mode, being able to do 2 people or multiple people controlling the same ship, I'm going to plug in another joystick just to show you what this is like. So if I go to the beginning again and go, I want to do a 2-player game. So right now I can move with my left joystick. I'm just moving the ship. When I push the red button on my left joystick, nothing happens. On the other joystick though, the other joystick has fire control. So you essentially can play this like a twin-stick shooter like we did with Robotron 2084 or Arena 3000 if you wanted to. I mean, it's more of a gimmicked way. It's not a true way to do, but it works still as a twin-stick shooter. So this game is allowing me to, with 2 joysticks, aim and shoot at different directions. It's different because you got the 2-shot like in Vanguard, but still, that's really impressive that we can do a sort of twin-stick shooter here. The other thing is this game is obviously a riff of Bosconian, which we don't have a lot of games that are playing like this. It's giving us this freedom to fly around and shoot. This is the 5th game we played that's a variant of Bosconian up to this point. In the arcade, we've seen Bosconian, and then Sword M5 had Bosconian. But then other than that, we've seen games like Moon War in the arcade that allowed you to play this way. Star Maze on the Apple II allowed you to play like this. There was another game on the Atari home computer, that kind of gives you this freedom. It was called Spider Invasion. But this one doesn't have as many game modes or the ability to shoot and fire like this. This is so much more fun than that. And then most recently we saw in the arcades Time Pilot, which is pretty good. So this has so many cool things. I said, I'm going to start marking games where the play mode, though, allows multiple people to share one character or one craft. Because we saw this with Atari's Space Invaders. You and your friend could play together cooperatively, but one of you was moving the ship, the other one was firing the ship. And so that's cool that they offered this play mode, but we've never seen 4 people on 4 joysticks controlling the same ship. You can do that with this game. That is the very first time we've been... So we always applaud and love something new here on Chronologically Gaming, and that's what they're doing. This is something new. We haven't seen anyone try to do that. We haven't even seen the reversed cooperative play, which is you and your friend are playing, but you're sharing the same controller. You know, like the developers designed it like that. We've seen it with games like the ColecoVision version of Pac-Man. You and your friend are huddling around and sharing the same controller or joystick. And we're going to see that too, where multiple people will be, you know, sharing one joystick. But this is 4 joysticks all controlling the same character on the screen, doing something with the character. So that's just insane. Way to go, Survivor. That's awesome. All right, so of all the games you can play on all home computers, this is special. This is a fun game on its own, but they added all these other game modes that are doing something unique and different and something we haven't seen before. So I'm looking over in the chat. Wow, I already see some 4.5 stars from Paul. Yeah, Jeremiah's saying 4.5 too. James has already thrown out 5, and then yeah, even Marshall's thrown out 5. I'm going to say because of all the games we've seen up to this point on all home computers, Survivor is a 5-star game. This has everything we mentioned from everything up to this point for shoot 'em ups, Bosconian-like, or you know the freedom to go around and shoot that way. This is another game by Synapse Software that's a 5-star game. Also check out Necromancer and check out Nautilus. I'm just wanting to know what is Synapse Software going to do next, because this is another amazing game. Yeah, and old Manly's thrown out a 4-star game. There we go. Yeah, it's because of the developer. So I hope we see more from. This was the first time we saw Richard Carr, so I hope we see more from him, because that's pretty cool. All right, after that game, what's going to be next? What's the next release? Tonight we go from the most amazing to what in the world is this? Ladies and gentlemen, this is Leapfrog. And don't be confused. The top left says the VC4000, which is a home console, usually from Germany, most parts of Europe. But this game, we almost missed completely this game. Let's see what Leapfrog's all about. I got some video footage over there on the left. As far as what this game is, I wasn't expecting to play this at all. This isn't even a real box because of how rare this game is. I was going through and wanting to catalog the ROM size of cartridges for all games up to this point. Because eventually we're going to get to games on the Sega and they're going to say it's 2 mega power, 4 mega power for the size of the cartridge. And I wanted to start doing it now. So I went through and was going through all the cartridges. And when I got to this system, I had said when we first saw the VC4000 that it was 1978 when this console first came out. And it's known by lots of different names. And so I got to the system and found out that there was other console names in other regions that had cartridges that I hadn't even seen or played yet. So I added them to the backlog. We'll get to them eventually. But this one, apparently, if you believe Moby Games, was released November 1982. So I was like, great, we're here. Let's play Leapfrog. So it's technically not for the VC4000. This is a fabricated box. It's not a real box. If you can find a real one, then drop me a line, but it's pretty rare. This VC4000 system, we kind of lump in everything that this system could be. This console is another rare console, kind of like the Creativision or the Emerson Arcadia 2001. It's known by lots of names, but this one takes the cake. The VC4000 could also be the advanced programmable video system. It could be the Astronic MPU 1000. It could be the Radiofin, Hanimex, the television computer system, the SuperPlay Computer 4000, the Telecomputer, and this one, which is the database computer. This is the Voltmace. There we go, the Voltmace database, and that's a real home console. So this is the 34th game we've played for any one of those consoles. We've played 34 games on this system, or systems. So now we're branching into what in the world are we playing? Because that's where we are right now. It's a whole lot of crazy. So we haven't seen anything else on the database because some of them were the same game just released for the VC4000. So yeah, you've seen the other games. They just probably were named differently. All right, so you ready? We have no other information except for what you saw. This is the cartridge that you would pop in to play some Leapfrog. I love Frogger. We got to play every Frogger that's out there. So this is Leapfrog by Derek Andrews. Way to go, Derek. Published by Volt Mace at some time in November 1982. Oh, gosh. It's already assailing our ears with terrible noises. So ignore the board in the background. It's technically not for the VC4000, but we just lump all other consoles from all the regions that this could be in for what we're playing here. Oh my gosh. So this is going through like an attract mode. Here we go. We want a one-player game. If you do a two-player game, then you only take turns. So here we go. I am Leapfrog. There we go. Aw, look at that. Very bizarre to play on this console. This uses an analog joystick with a number pad. So it's like the grandpappy of the Atari 5200 joystick. But look at this. It is Frogger. He even has animation when he moves around. And you have to land on the... Oh, where did I go? You have to land on whatever those not the logs. Looks like the turtles or the lily pads. This is bizarre. And it is a home console Frogger variant. Okay, you can barely see the frog when he's on the logs. Yes, and that's true. Brad makes a good point. The emulation for this is very sketchy, as all get out. I mean, look at the graphical artifacts. I'm amazed that I can play this because sometimes I'll find a game that's so rare or hard to find that I'll just have to get someone else playing the footage. We did that on the SHG Blackpoint home console from Germany. Man, the Germans get the coolest obscure consoles. But since we play everything, this is it. This is Leapfrog. I gotta be able to get to the other side at least once. There's been some Frogger variants we played that are just, ugh, they're scary. So this may not be the first Volt Mace game we've played. Well, this is the first that we've played, but this is not the first Volt Mace game because there's been so many copies and clones. It's weird how I'm not able to get to the other side. So I won't fault that against it because the game just didn't get as much love, the poor thing. Oh, did I make it? I can't tell if I made it. Did I make it or did I die? I'm not really sure. All right, so this one is our 37th Frogger variant that we've seen thus far on Chronologically Gaming. 37 games that play kind of like or sort of like Frogger. So that's on all systems, computers, arcade, everything. A lot of the games we played have been on home computers that are copying Frogger because they can get away with it. But this is a home console, so this will be rated against every other home console style game that plays like Frogger. Well, to tell you the truth, it's only going against 2 games right now. On home consoles, we have on the Atari 2600 Frogger, official Frogger. There's also official Frogger for the Philips Video Pack G7000 in Europe. So that's it. This only has 2 other games that are like that. I'm looking in the chat. There's a 2-star already thrown out there. Poor Frogger. Well, the joystick and the control is responding well enough. I would say this one is not playing as well as the Video Pack version. It's close, but not as good as the Video Pack version. And I'd say definitely not as good as Frogger for the Atari 2600. Aside from all the emulation glitches. But yeah, right? Yeah, the emulator is... I mean, look at this. We're even getting it to shake. I'm amazed that we got a dump that we found online of this in the first place. Since I love Frogger, I really want to have and play every single Frogger type game that's out there. So this one's cool. Right now, this one only has 2 other Frogger games that it would be competing against that you'd be able to play if you had every single console in the world right now. Yeah, so if it was better, yeah, I'm thinking around 2.5, 2 that Paul threw out there. But I got some 2 stars that I've seen up to this point because it is admirable that it plays like this. And some of the other games we've seen for the VC4000 or this line of different systems, the analog joystick is pretty cool. It has a nice novelty. You need to check out some of the other games we've seen that we played for the Interton VC4000, or, you know, the other consoles that are out there. All right, so there you go. That's a taste of Leapfrog. Yikes. Scary. And amazing that we could actually play it ourselves. So I would say it's, for all the video games you could play across all home consoles, if you enjoyed Frogger, you would have a good time with this one. You would understand the quirks, obviously, of, you know, where you can jump or not jump. I believe if you see the footage over on the left side, the logs at the top are not yeah, you can display yourself. So the emulation was making so I couldn't see it, but you could actually see that in the true game. So I'm thinking around 2.5 to 3 stars, actually, around the average range for everything you could play. I wouldn't call this a bad game on a home console right now. It's pretty good. Barclay says 1.5. Oof, I don't know if I can go that low, but yeah, there's a 2-star that's out there and a 2.5. Yeah, so I would say from our experience, and because I know that it would run a little better based on footage I've seen, I'm going to go with 2.5 stars for all the games you could play across all home consoles. Yeah, right? There we go. And Marshall's even saying 3. Really nice. Yeah, around the average range for everything on home consoles right now. All right, that's where we got to put all the video game playing on pause, use that super bomb, or play something that you've never even heard of before, because we do that all the time here on Chronologically Gaming. We're playing and seeing random, strange games. This is another example, playing Leapfrog, of how many games that are out there that are just recently being dumped online that you can play. This game, or this system, was only dumped like a couple years ago. And as we've moved forward, we've been doing this show for about 2 years now. Going from, in 2 years, we've already seen more games that show up online, which hopefully we're not going to add too much to the backlog of the games we're going to play later, but there's just so many video games that are out there. I know, yeah, only because of the emulation, you bet. All right, so next time on Chronologically Gaming, we hop from computer to computer and game to game, getting to the end of November 1982. Adventure games from Japan. And Namco brings another game officially home for the first time on the Sword M5. That's it for today, and like I always say, immerse yourself in the time the game was released, and you will have more fun playing. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.